And we are live. What's going on, people? Welcome to another live episode of the Off the Ball podcast, sponsored by the Off the Ball Network. And on today's show, I got a special guest with me joining the show today. I got my man Daniel Artest from the Daniel Artest podcast. My man, what's going on today?
Man, not much, man. Just maintaining, man. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Oh no, I appreciate you coming on, man. This is an honor. This is an honor to have you on. So hey, so how you doing, man? How's everything going? How you dealing with quarantine life, man?
Man, quarantine life has been really different, man. They closed all the gyms and stuff like that. So I've been putting on some weight that I got to burn off and things like, you know what I mean? Living down here in South Carolina, you know what I'm saying? Like all this Southern food and stuff is different down here. But, you know, listen, my family healthy, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, right? That's, as long as everyone's healthy, that's all that matters. But like you said, man, I know I've gained a few. I lost weight in the beginning. I was like, all right, maybe I'll stay on. Then, just some days where like you said, that when the hoops aren't out, the hoops are especially in New York City, man. You lived here, They took down all the hoops.
Yeah.
They took down all the hoops, like every single hoop. Like you couldn't find a hoop, or they boarded it up. So it was crazy out here. It was crazy. It just was wild. Was that the same down there, down south? Was it the same? Like as far as
No, they didn't cut the hoops down, nothing like that. They just basically locked the city up pretty much. Just closed down all the businesses and schools and stuff like that. But the basketball hoops was still up out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you know how people in New York City act. They don't act right sometimes.
Yeah.
But, they're not gonna listen and all that. But it's crazy. But all right. So obviously you're from New York City. You're from Queens. Just talk to me a little bit about growing up in New York City.
Growing up in New York City. Well, where I'm from, Queensbridge Projects. It was cool. You know what I mean? It was tough, but you made the best of it and everything like that. Really good basketball scene back in those days. And when the basketball scene in Queensbridge went away for a little bit, but now it's coming back up. We got some young kids out there in Queensbridge that's hooping and stuff like that. But it was just more intense back in those days, man. Just growing up, and we had this tournament called Block to Block, where different blocks played against each other and stuff like that. Oh, you got to be only from Queensbridge and stuff, and just for it was like college, like you play for like the pride and stuff like that, And it was fun, man. I miss those days so much, man. And it shaped me into the player that I am today.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, in that era, man, it felt like New York City hoops. Like you had to be tough to play, right? You couldn't be soft going into those courts and try to play because you would get exposed real quick. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of dudes who probably thought they had game and probably was talking stuff, and then they go into they play, and then it's a wrap. They just get chewed up and spit out. I'm sure you saw that a lot.
Real quick, it'll get you out of there real fast if you're not locked in, if you're not focused, if you're not ready to go. You know what I'm saying? It could be a bad night for you.
Mm-hmm. So what was some of the top courts you played on?
Well, the top courts I played on, the first one is always going to be in Queensbridge. That's at the Dime, live behind the Reese. You know what I'm saying? Live behind the Jacob Reese Center in Queensbridge. Rucker Park, of course. Kingdom was another one for me. Earl Manigault, Goat Park on 96th Street and Amsterdam Avenue in Manhattan. That was another one for me. It was just pretty much those courts right there. Or you go Tri-State Classic, 145th and like 8th Avenue up there in Harlem, New York and stuff. So yeah, and also one more. Shout outs to this other tournament in Spanish Harlem or Washington Heights called the Dog Show. One of the most low key tournaments you will ever find, but it was like one of the best tournaments I've ever played in. It was fun live. It was definitely live in Spanish Harlem.
Okay. So what was your style, of playing? Were you just a bruiser? Were you a shooter? You had the handles, like in New York City, people they like their handles, they like to dribble, that. So what was your style?
My style of play is I'm a 6'4" power forward / center, so I like to play that bully ball style. Play in the paint, playing tough offensive rebounding. I like to score, in the paint too, and I can step outside and shoot a little bit. you know. But my main game was basically just using my strength to just overpower players.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, and how like obviously, your brother was a bulldog too. So how was those matchups with you and your brother growing up?
You know, me and Ron we rarely played against each other like that. But
Uh-huh.
but when he got to the NBA and I was like, working out with him while he's training for his season, and I'm preparing for my seasons or whatever. When I was playing overseas, we had some pretty good battles and stuff. But I mostly did the damage to his teammates, though. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was fun. It was fun, like seeing going up against NBA players, seeing where I stood at. And then when Isaiah Thomas was the coach at the time. So when Isaiah Thomas popped his head in there or Larry Bird popped his head in there, you know what I mean? I go a little bit harder, do a nice little dunk and let them know like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm in the building too,
Oh, that's crazy. All right. Yeah. So you didn't play high school basketball, right?
No, I didn't play no high school basketball at all, man.
So what were you doing? Were you just, playing like, AAU scene? Were you doing like CYO? Were you doing, church leagues? What were you doing as far as basketball wise?
I just played AAU. That's all. I played AAU heavy. Shout outs to Elm Core. That was the AAU team I played with Coach Doug Jones. And it was fun. We had some nice players. We had me, Smush Parker played a little bit with us. We had Shane Gadsden played a little bit with us. Sunyata Gaines also played with us a lot. We had Lenny Cook, Charlie Villanueva, Curtis Sumter. We had a nice little team and stuff. Shaheem McNair. We had a nice team. It was fun times.
So you brought up Lenny Cook, and Lenny Cook was supposed to be that dude. Like, how good was he growing up playing with him?
He was different, man. He was different. Lenny was different. Like this, like he had so much game, man. And everybody had this misconception about him. Thinking that he was like a head case and everything. But Lenny's one of the coolest teammates I ever had and stuff. He used to call me nuts, so I was the one that was going crazy. If anything, he was the one that's playing peacemaker. But it was dope hooping with Lenny, man. That's my dog forever.
Yeah, I mean, there was at one point where he was like the top player in the country, right?
Yeah, he was the number one player in the country, and he played like it. He played like it. He went up against everybody, and he was better than everybody. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that he didn't go far with his career and stuff. I thought that he was on his way. You know what I mean? But everybody has their own path. In basketball, I had my own path. Lenny has his own path. And look, at the end of the day, we can both, me and him can both say like, hey, we had a shot. We made it all the way up there to summer league and stuff like that. All these basketball players, all these street ball players they can't say that. It's really hard. It's really hard to play to make it on that level and stuff. And I'm just proud to say that, hey, I mean, I got there a little bit. Lenny, and then Lenny could say that, hey, he got there too. And Lenny could say, hey, I was the number one player in the nation at one point in the nation. In the United States of America, I was the number one ranked player. And they can't take that from him, man.
No. I mean, I remember watching the documentary and he was I think he went to a Knick game and they showed him like Joe Kim Noah, and Joe Kim Noah was still like, yo, you were that dude, like still showing him like real respect. So like true hoopers know, always gonna remember Lenny Cook as being that dude, because I mean he was nice. He
used to son them dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? He used to treat them like their sons. Noah, he played with us too, actually. Mm-hmm. But he was like a guard when he played with us. He was like 6'3", 6'4".
Really?
Yeah, 6'5" or something like that. Yeah, but yeah, he was a guard. Like Charlie Villanueva was like 6'2" when he played with us. And then it shot up out of nowhere. Yeah. That's why, when Charlie he got tall, he had the skills. Like Noah had a little bit of guard skills too when he was hooping with Chicago and stuff like that. That translated, I mean, growing up well. They didn't get like, tall and clumsy and stuff. They was actually very coordinated and stuff. But yeah, but Lenny Cook used to son a lot of them dudes. All them dudes that he was dapping up and they was looking at him like, yeah, he was sonning them boys, man.
Yeah, but like you said, like you made it to a summer league. Like there's dudes that, played high school basketball, go to college, play, 2, 3, 4 years, and don't even get an opportunity at a summer league. you got that opportunity and Lenny got that opportunity. So that's something you should take with a badge of honor. Like you got to like that step before you get to the pros. Like you got to a summer league. Guys, are in the gym all day trying to get to that, and you were able to get to that. So that's dope.
I always say that I made it to the league because my checks were signed by the owner. You know what I'm saying? So it was like at a point I had NBA checks. Man, don't play with me.
Don't play with me. So what team did you play for in the summer league?
I was with the Sacramento Kings.
Okay.
Yeah. It was 2007, the year that Kevin Durant got drafted and Greg Oden got drafted. It was that year. And stuff,
And how was that experience? Playing around. Playing in the summer league. How was that?
It was fun. I had a good time. It was in Vegas. I went to junior college in Vegas. So to return there, you know what I mean? It showed that I worked hard and I earned my keep and I earned my spot on that Sacramento Kings Summer League team and stuff. And it was cool to see like my teammates got to see me play some ball on that level and stuff. It was fun. It was fun. The only thing I wish that would have went better, I would have played a little bit more. I ain't really, play that much. And of course, Ron was on the Kings at that time, and people was thinking it was some nepotism thing. And I was just like, no, because Ron wasn't around when I was working out with the coaches and stuff. You know what I mean? And so I was just like, oh, well, I'm not going to say no if they offer me a spot. If I'm in the gym 5 a.m. with the assistant coach because I was actually literally working on my game to go overseas. You know what I mean? I was going to go to Germany. So, but they gave me an opportunity to go, and I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm there.
Yeah. So you wound up going overseas, right? Right after that?
Yes, I went overseas. I went to Germany for a little bit, and I also went to Greece to train a little bit as well, and I played in China a little bit too.
So was the mindset still like I want to play in the NBA, or were you content with okay, I'm going to be a guy who's going to play overseas, which is fine, right? You can make a nice living and you can do your thing.
The money was too great to pass up to go. Like, I wasn't worried about the NBA after a while. Like once I was just like, all right, let me just go make some money real quick, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like I want to have some fun. Let me make some money and be the man. Instead of just like trying to make something that's like really, hard to make. You know what I mean? The NBA it's tough. You know what I mean? And they have their guys and everything like that. Especially me, I'm like being a 6'4" forward. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? Like Charles Barkley's like pretty much the only one or whatever, So, you know what I mean? Once I realized that, I was like, all right, cool. You just go over the water.
Yeah, but at least you got that, at least you got your feet wet, playing some summer league and got that experience, right? I'm sure that was just that helped you tremendous, especially once you got overseas.
Exactly. And I look at it as like, if plan A don't work, there's 25 other letters in the alphabet. So pick one,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great mindset to have. So, your brother went to St. John's and all that, and then he gets drafted by the Bulls, but there's a team in New York that could have got him. How did you feel about that? That New York team passing him when he's in their backyard. I'm sure that was a hot thing going around.
Well, I was 16 at the time when it happened, so I was just like, I didn't really pay no attention to it really. But when I really look back at it, ever since the Knicks did that, they've been on this spiral like this the whole time.
Girl, I'm a Knicks fan, man. It hasn't been the same since. It hasn't been the same.
It hasn't been the same. The guy, he never came over. He ended up just being he's more famous for getting dunked on by Vince Carter. Well, Vince Carter jumped over him. You know what I'm saying? And then they just been in a little steady decline as an organization since they didn't pass Ron. Maybe if they drafted Ron or whatever, maybe who knows what would have happened. But I understand why they didn't draft Ron either. Ron is Ron, and they thought that maybe he's going to have his friends around from Queensbridge and not be focused on the game and stuff like that. So I understand. When you draft an NBA player, that's a big investment. So you got to do your whole due diligence. Maybe they seen something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was 16 at the time when he got drafted. But, hey, I don't think Ron's complaining about it.
I think Ron did fine, yeah. But it just, I felt like he would have been, he's a New Yorker, right? He fits that grit and grind. And I think he would have, the Garden would have they would have loved Ron, in New York. But, like you said, they're paying for it since they passed on them. So it's crazy how the struggles of that franchise.
Exactly.
They've been bad.
All right, they're on the up and up though. I like RJ Barrett a lot. I like Mitchell Robinson a lot. They have a nice little new young nucleus. I think that the Tim Thibodeau hire, I don't know. You know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna wait till the first couple of games and I'll say something about it.
Mhm.
I kind of feel that his style is outdated.
Yeah,
Coach's style. I thought they should have got a more developmental coach.
I agree.
But maybe he convinced him that he can coach these kids.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Maybe he's going to change maybe he's going to change his ways. Maybe he's going to do something different and stuff. So hey, hopefully
you sort of have to, right? Like you can't coach the same way you coach in Chicago, right?
the NBA changed
it's a different roster too. Like
exactly. The NBA changed from 5 years ago. The NBA is not the same. The NBA is two totally different leagues now from 5 years ago. You can't. The style is different. They want more load management, more resting and stuff like that. They want you to, of course, you're going to practice hard and things like that. But they don't want you killing nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand. What injuries happens when you're overextending yourself, especially in the NBA. Like, it's a different level of basketball, a different level that is more strenuous on your body and stuff. And so you don't want to be in a situation like that. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand. Tim Thibodeau was the coach, and Derrick Rose blew his knee. And you know what I'm saying? So it got to be a different approach.
It has to be, right? And listen, he goes to Minnesota and he takes the team to the playoffs, right? That has been the playoffs since KG was there. So you give him credit there, but they kind of did underperform there for the most part with all that talent. I mean, Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, Wiggins, and all that. They did underperform. But do you think he got too much power? Because he was control of everything. So he was in control of the roster and control of the coach. So isn't that a dynamic usually doesn't really work out that much when guys have both roles?
Yeah, because your mind is not, you're not focused on the task at hand. That's trying to win a championship. You want to win a championship, but you're focused on player evaluation. Now you got to focus on coaching. That's too many hats, especially in the NBA. That's tough to do.
Like Doc had to quit. Like he got fired from his GM job as with the Clippers. Exactly. Because it's too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's too much. So you either got to do one thing or the other. I mean, I know you want that power, but that's hard. That's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Yeah. So like I said, this Knicks team is obviously they've been struggling for a long time. So I do think they probably should have went a developmental coach route, guy who can, because they are a young team. Like they got a lot of young, and they're going to have a younger team because this roster is not going to be the same as it was last year, right? So they have 3 draft picks this year, so it's going to be younger. So maybe a guy who's like a Kenny Atkinson, I thought maybe would have been good, I'm big Phil Handy guy. I'm big Phil Handy guy. I watch his videos religiously. It just seems like everywhere he goes, they just happen to win. Like I think a coach like that would have been fine, or Ime Udoka was another good, guy like that. I thought they maybe should have gone that way, but we'll see what Tibbs does. Obviously, he's established. If Derrick Rose doesn't get hurt, I mean, hell, we might be talking about him being a championship coach because that team was a number 1 seed that year before he gets hurt.
I don't know if they're going to beat LeBron like that though.
They could have been, right? They could have been.
It could have been different. It could have been. They could have pushed them, but I don't know. There's too much firepower with that Miami Heat team with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
at least to the conference final. They could have been. They definitely could have been to the conference finals and give and go at it.
I agree with you on that.
But we will never know because he gets hurt and then it's just never the same. It's just never the same. So obviously the league is. Oh, you go.
Yeah, I want to say kudos to Derrick Rose though for changing his game. You know what? We know that he's at the MVP Derrick Rose of old, right? We know that. I still feel like he's a better player now than then. Just imagine that version of Derrick Rose with this version of Derrick Rose jump shot. More smart of a player and everything, man. Look, came back, still averaging almost 20 a game. Like Derrick Rose, man, like I think that he's like a championship away from going to the Hall of Fame, man.
I agree.
I really hope that he get into the right situation and win a championship. I really do.
I think everyone's rooting for him to get to that
Yeah.
championship. Like because obviously we see, like I was just watching his Doc Poo, and just see like, he gets scrutinized for the injury, right? For not coming back, right? When he's supposed to be medically cleared and he doesn't play because he doesn't feel right, right? Which is, I never got why people are getting on him because he doesn't feel like he's ready. Like just because you're medically cleared doesn't mean you're ready to go play, 30 minutes a night, on a basketball court, especially the way he plays. So when people are getting on him on that, and then he comes back, and then what happens? He tears his meniscus on his other leg, on his other knee. Right, and then that's when the injuries start piling up, and to see him just be resilient and come back from that, and he goes to the Knicks. He still was not bad with the Knicks. Like, yes, it didn't go well, like as far as team success, but he was still averaging like 19 a game with the Knicks, and then makes a couple stops, and then he goes to Minnesota. Finally, finds a place where he's back with Tibbs, and then he has a game where he has that 50-point game. I mean, that's vintage D Rose. I mean, yeah, we're not seeing the crazy dunks and all that, but he's moving just like D Rose, like.
Yep.
And I think that we all want to see him. And now he's in Detroit, and I think he's one of those dudes. Like, I mean, that I think Melo too is another guy like that, where like you want to see them get a championship, right? Jamal Crawford too. Like, is this those guys? I'm like, I want to see them on a championship team. Like I want that with Vince Carter too. I would have Vince go to State and just get. Go to the championship. You just want to see guys like those guys are playing. They've played at a high level for so long. You just want to see them, get to that pinnacle and know how it feels to win a championship. I always want to see that, especially and all that. But
I agree. I don't know why Vince Carter didn't ring chase though. I don't know why Vince Carter didn't ring chase. Why are you gonna go to the development team to end it all?
But it would have been fine if he ring chased, right? Because you're in year 32.
Yeah, get your ring, okay. Man. Go to the Lakers or somebody. Go get your ring.
At 43, right? That's okay.
Yeah.
No one's gonna get on you for getting a ring at 40. So that's why when he was a free agent, I'm like, all right, he's gonna go to Golden State. He's gonna go to wherever, the Lakers, Clippers. He's gonna go to a team that could win, Brooklyn or whatever. But then he goes to Atlanta. I'm like, damn, Vince, Atlanta. Like really? I was like, all right, but that was his path, and he still had a great career and all that. But there's certain guys you just want to see get a ring, and so But Derrick Rose, and it's the story, him coming back. I mean, it's something that we all root for him because that he was a problem.
Yeah,
he was a problem.
Yes, he was, man.
Did your brother have to guard? Did you ever hear stories about him guarding Derrick and how tough he was, because Derrick was a fast, and all that, athletic.
Ron normally just say how like his first step was really quick. I don't think Ron he rarely guarded him in a lot of games, but Ron always said that he was just really quick and athletic on the court, and that he just played with confidence and stuff. He just had that look in his eye that nobody could guard him.
Yeah, I mean he was special. He definitely was special. How do you feel about the NBA now, the way it's played now? Obviously, it's literally changed. And like you said, in 5 years, the game is completely different. Where I remember the draft 5 years ago. 5 years now, we had Okafor from Duke was a top 3 pick. If he's a draft pick now, like I look at Vernon Carey from Duke and similar, playing style, and he's not even considered to be a top pick. Like, it's crazy how much the game has changed in just 5 years. Like, it's crazy.
The game is like what I used to fantasize about as a kid. Like, I always wanted to be a 7-foot 3-point shooting guard or whatever, like Kevin Durant. Like it's crazy. You got all these generational players in the same generation. Like, like Giannis is a once a 20-year type of player. Kevin Durant is a once 20-year type of player. Look at LeBron James. It's a once in a 20-year type of player, what I mean? And you got them all in the same type of in the same, era, pretty much. So I like the skill part. They took the physicality part out, which I understand. These players is making $200 million, $250 million over 5 years now. So, you want to protect your investment. and everything. You know what I mean? But as a fan, I like the skills. I like the skill part of the game. We're seeing more skill. You
Mm-hmm.
know, now you got to play defense on the wing. You can't really, hand checking them anymore like they did in the 80s. Now you gotta move your feet and stuff. You know what I mean? You got to hit open shots to stay on the court now. You know, you got players like PJ Tucker. A lot of people don't like PJ Tucker, or they don't like his game or whatever, but he's on the court because he's gonna hit them corner threes. You know what I mean? You got to do something. You got to master one thing in the NBA now. Whether you're going to score, whether you can shoot, whether you can defend, whether you can rebound, whether you can pass. You got to master one thing, be coachable, and so I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with today's game. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think you get a lot of like old heads who like, oh, it's not like the '90s anymore. It's not like that style.
Yeah,
But it's
I have
like,
an issue with that, man.
if you watched if you just watched the last doc, I mean, last documentary, you saw games were like 72 to 69. Like that's not fun. Nobody wants to see that. Imagine seeing that now. That's a halftime score.
Yeah, exactly. Now, but it didn't bother us back then, though. You know what I'm saying? We were just watching basketball. We didn't know, like like in those games when them games was that low, Jordan was shooting 11 for 35. We didn't care. He just made the last shot. You know what I'm saying? We didn't care about nothing else.
It's evolving with the times, right? That's what it is. The game evolves, and everything in life it evolves. You just got to get used to it. We just got to adapt. I don't think people are still stuck on that. Oh, it's not the '90s no more. Blah blah blah. It's like, come on, guys. Like there's so much talent in the league right now. Like the league is filled with we haven't seen this much talent in the NBA in forever. It's loaded with young talent, and there's guys coming in that we don't even know about. 16-year-olds that are going to be in the league in a few years that are just tremendous, just so skillful, right? I mean, there's guys who are 6'10", 6'11", and they're handling the ball like a point guard. Like we haven't seen that in ever. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy and stuff. And when people be talking about, being physical, I'll be having friends or players I played against that I used to bully, on the court, and they complain to the ref like, "Daniel, you're being really physical." You know what I mean? Talking to the ref like he's physical, but then yet they miss the physicality of the 90s. I just be like, man, listen. Hey, this is your era of basketball now. If you feel like the NBA is softer now, then you should have no problem playing in a softer era because you was a soft basketball player.
But when people say like it's not physical, it's like, there's no clotheslines and there's no Detroit style basketball. If you want that, then it's not like that, and good it's not like that because we can't. Jordan had to retire twice because he was getting beat up. I mean, we can't have LeBron James, Giannis getting, ragdolled like it's the WWF, in the 90s, right? You got to protect your stars, right? It's a star-driven. Exactly. You got to protect your investments, right?
And I feel like Giannis and LeBron would dish out the punishment in any era too.
Exactly, right?
That's a different. Just imagine LeBron in that day. Like, come on, man. Listen, I know we love Michael Jordan and stuff, man, but I don't know, man. I'm sorry. It's different.
But I'm sure you see this all the time on social media where like, LeBron can never play in the 90s. Giannis can't play, like Harden can't play in the 90s. And you're just like, I'm like, especially with LeBron, you're like, man, if you put LeBron in the 90s or the 80s, he would dominate. There's no one like him in those eras. A guy who's that big, who moves that fast. He's Karl Malone with Magic Johnson and Dr. J. Like he's all in one. Tell me a guy like that that's in the 80s and 90s like that. There is none. Like
exactly.
So you can't play in that era. Like I always found that silly with LeBron as far as like eras and all that. I think that's just silly to say that.
He would be a monster.
He would. He would. Like, how would his game would transit easy? He would dominate. He would win every year. He'd be an MVP, right? Exactly. It's crazy when we talk era, and plus it's different eras. Like, I don't know why people always try to, compare, like, especially the Jordan, LeBron debates. It's like it's two different eras. They're two different players. Like, it's hard to compare eras.
I agree. That's why, like, I stay away from those type of debates now. Like, I don't debate. Like, Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. I don't do those debates no more, man. I'm just enjoying the moment, man. I'm taking time smelling the flowers, man.
Exactly, right? That's all you could
Yes,
do. We
sir.
appreciate greatness too, right? I don't think we appreciate greatness. Like what LeBron's doing is it's unbelievable, right? Like
Yeah,
it's like he's been to 10 finals, right? That's 10 out of the 17 years in the NBA he's gotten to the finals, right? Whether
yeah.
people want to talk about his record with all of these, like I'll take those 6 losses in the finals rather than losing in the first round or whatever. Like why do people go like losing in the first round? Like I'd rather lose in the finals, at least have a chance to win a championship than get bounced in
Exactly.
the first round. Like why do like people don't bring up like he's never lost in the first round? Like you know.
And how about this? If you could ask any NBA player that you're going to play 17 years in the NBA, and you're going to go to the finals and win 40% of the time in the NBA finals, would you take that? I get it. Teams like some players going to have better legacies than other. We know Jordan 6-0. We know that. We know Bill Russell got 11 rings. We know that already. Okay, you know what I'm saying. But we cannot discount that this man went to the finals 10 times. You know what I'm saying. All right, his record is 4-6, but now 4-6 ain't bad. No, you know what I mean. It's not bad. It's 40%. You know what I'm saying? Four out of 10 is 40%. If you ask any NBA player, if you go to the finals and win 40% of the time, are you cool with that? They'll be fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, but like it's just crazy with him. Like I just feel like people just want to hate him just to hate him because he's not Michael Jordan. Like I just
Yeah.
like, we're people. Too many people are stuck with Michael Jordan, and he's the greatest. And which listen, if you think he's the GOAT, he's the GOAT. That's fine. Like, but it's just like the I think people are truly scared that he's approaching that GOAT level. Like he can be considered like Jordan has been by himself maybe since he stopped playing, and like
Mhm.
LeBron has gotten close, and like people are scared that he could surpass him. I think that's a legit thing. Like people are scared to say that, oh, he might be better, which is fine. If you think LeBron's the best, that's fine. But like I feel like people just don't like, oh, he can't be because he's 4-6 in the finals. Like, okay,
Please, no,
he's like,
please.
it's silly, right? It's really is silly. Like that's all you could say. Like, and it's also in context. Like, look at how he lost. Like, and look at the teams he had to go against and who he had on his team, right?
Exactly. And everybody holds a 2011 championship against LeBron, right? But that Dallas team was amazing, though. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Dallas, they swept the defending champions in the Lakers. You know what I mean? They took OKC down in 5 games and stuff. They lost. I think they only lost like 3 or 4 games during that championship run or
Yeah.
something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that Dallas team is really underrated. You know what I mean? I guess they didn't have no all-stars or whatever. And then
Yeah,
it was clicking.
they swept the Lakers.
Yeah.
They beat Durant in 5. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and they beat I think San Antonio too. So they beat good teams to get to
Yeah.
that Miami series. Like,
Yeah.
so they lost to a good team. Like people are like, oh, they lost to Dirk. It's like no, but look who Dirk had to go through to get to LeBron and then
Yeah.
beat LeBron and
Exactly.
struggled. Like so, like it's just crazy with the whole.
And this is the NBA, man. When your team, when you're a veteran team, you know what I'm saying, and then you got this young team coming in with everybody playing with each other for the first year. That matters.
Mhm.
That matters, man. In the NBA, like young teams don't win championships in the NBA. I mean, these veteran teams they win.
Right.
The young guys don't win. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
LeBron had to. It happened. It happened. He had to pay his dues, and look, now he's winning and stuff. Now he won 2. He won 2 in a row, and then left and went to Cleveland, got 1, and now he got 1 with the Lakers now. So I mean, nobody can say really.
How do you feel about, obviously, players are definitely taking more of an initiative on, their careers instead of owners and, dictating where they play and all that. How do you feel about the players having more power and if they want to team up with someone, doing that, the teaming up with stars and all that? How do you feel about players having more control of their careers?
I like that. Player empowerment is really good. This is a players' league. It always has been a players' league. You know what I mean? Even though the owners, they got all the money and stuff, but it always has been a players' league. And then when these teams don't want to get better, you're trying to treat these players as, like this, like your big circus, elephant or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The players ain't having it. They want to win, then they're gonna make it happen. They're gonna force their hand. You know what I mean? And make it do what it do. Like even when LeBron left Cleveland that first time.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was a trade where they were going to trade for Amari Stoudemire, right? But Cleveland didn't want to give up J.J. Hickson. You know what I'm saying? So they opted to trade for Antoine Jameson. You know what I'm saying? Antoine Jameson's a great player too. But you know, this is Amari. He could have had that Amari and LeBron dynamic.
And
You know what I
Amari
mean?
was still in like it was the last years of his prime, but he was still Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, but feels like he was having his knee issue, but he was still at his best. So that right there, you could have won a championship or two. Then you know, Amari knee went bad, then LeBron probably would have bounced or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
If you have Amari on that team the year he leaves, like they could have won a championship with him on Amari. I mean, Amari goes to the Knicks next year. He's an MVP. You know, he's playing
exactly. Exactly. You know, so you know, you gotta make these teams better. These players want to win titles and stuff. Me personally, I'll take the money. I'm staying. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not turning down none of that super max. You know what I mean? But I'll buy me a championship ring and tell my grandkids I won. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're already a champion. You know what I'm saying? When you make it to the NBA, listen, just give me the money, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll work. Hey, give me the money that I earned over the years of me dominating, and then y'all build a team around that. Don't y'all ain't taking no pay cut or nothing, you know?
That's funny. But I guess he kind of had to leave Cleveland to learn how to win, right? Because obviously he gets to play with D-Wade, who won a championship, right, with Shaq, but Shaq wasn't Kobe, you know, Shaq, you know, that was, you know, it wasn't that Shaq. Shaq was still, you know, one of obviously dominant, but not as dominant as he was in Lakers. But you know, Wade did his thing against Dallas in 05. Like he was amazing. Like he was amazing. So to learn, you know, to go to Miami and learn from Pat Riley and D-Wade, learn how to win. And then I think losing that first year helped him too. Like I know he didn't play well and all that, and losing sucks, obviously, but I feel like he learned a lot from that. And then what they do the next year, they beat one of those young teams, right? That young up and coming team that everyone thinks, oh man, this team's going to be that next, you know, a dynasty. And then he beats them. They beat them in 5, and with, you know, they take down, you know, and that team, you know, obviously, you know, Durant, Harden, and Westbrook. I mean that team was stacked with a bunch of young guys. So I think he needed to leave Cleveland. He left Cleveland for you. I think he needed to leave for a little bit to learn how to win.
Yeah, and people don't factor in the coaching. The coaching matters. Cleveland, as good, Mike Brown, he's a good coach, but it's different when you got that championship coach, that championship, you know, executive, and Pat Riley. You know what I mean? That conversation hits different when you have somebody that's been there before. You know what I'm saying? So that's people. A lot of people don't understand that they're not factoring in everything as far as, you know, when LeBron was doing whatever he was doing in 2011. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not 2011. What led LeBron leaving Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff factoring in. So LeBron had to leave to go win. You know what I mean? He had to go learn how to win. He didn't know. He didn't have good coaching his entire life. You know, he didn't go to college. He didn't have a Dean Smith like Jordan had. You know, Kobe won. You know, he had Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff matters, man.
LeBron's never had an elite Hall of Fame coach.
Exactly.
Never had that. So just imagine if he had a coach like the only time he had a coach like that was Coach K for Team USA.
Yeah, exactly. But even that wouldn't even matter in the NBA because Coach K never coached in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like you give Coach K an NBA team to run, they won't be good. They won't be that good. They're different.
It's total. Like, and he almost took the Lakers job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coach K almost took the Lakers job, right? And what 05, like right after Shaq was gone, right? He almost took it, but it's hard to leave Duke though. That's a pretty good thing, though.
He has the power. He has power. College is different. Like look at John Calipari. He has a lot of power. You know, I was surprised Billy Donovan left. You know what I mean? Gave him that power to go coach in the NBA and stuff. And speaking of him, I think he's going to do really good with the Bulls. Now he got a team of players that's not all stars. Everybody young and hungry. No superstars on that team. He can coach that team how he sees fit. I think that's how you get better as a coach and stuff. Like once the superstar come in, it's going to mess everything up because they're going to be demanding. It's a superstar thing. They're going to have the championship. It's going to be championship aspirations. That's why Kenny Atkinson don't have a job now.
I was just about to mention that Kenny Atkinson.
He don't have a job now. He's a great coach, but it's different once that changes. It's different now. It's unfortunate too because he's a really good coach. He's a really good coach.
I mean, I like Kenny Atkinson a lot, and obviously, they went from being a developmental team. They obviously they didn't have draft picks as they made the trade for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett years back. Yeah. So, but it was impressive that the fact that how they built the team with without having all those assets, right? They could have had those top 3 picks, but they went to Boston and all that. But the way he was able to develop that team, and get D'Angelo Russell from LA, right? And people thought D'Angelo was just going to be another dude and a cast off, and he turns him into an all-star, and they go to the playoffs, after a rough start, and then the Nets just completely changed in the one off season, their whole team, right? They get KD and Kyrie, so now it's a whole different culture, Exactly. So I'm sure he was probably like looking at that situation and probably like, I don't know if this is going to be a good fit for me long term because now I'm coaching different players, right? I'm the guys I was coaching before, like. Those guys are the type of guys I like. Developing them. Like I can't develop Kyrie and KD because they are who they are, right? You can't
exactly.
Those are thoroughbreds, right?
Exactly.
So it's I like Kenny a lot. I think he's a really good coach, but yeah, it's how do you feel about KD and Kyrie that connection going into next season?
I feel like they're going to go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that if they're healthy and if everybody's engaged and everything, I think they can make some noise. This is Kyrie and KD we talking about now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's two dynamic type of players. We already know what KD can do. We already know what Kyrie can do. And they got that scrappy bunch over there too, as well. I think that they those that Brooklyn Nets team can make some noise, man. I really think so. They could be dangerous.
Yeah,
they could be dangerous. I got them. I think I actually have them coming out the East next year. To be honest,
I mean East. You got Boston. Boston did their thing. Toronto. We don't know how Toronto's going to look like. They got free agents, so they might look a little different. The Sixers. How do you feel about the Sixers? How'd that chemistry? It seemed like they messed that team up. Because they lose last year to a crazy Kawhi shot. They were a Kawhi shot away from getting to the conference finals, right? They had JJ Redick. They had some good shooters. They got good mix, and then this year they just. They flipped that team, and then obviously, they didn't look right. Well, what do you think was the issue there?
Well, how they lost the team was after Ben Simmons got hurt. Once you lose your point guard, they had nobody to give Joel Embiid the ball. So, that's why they crashed and burned as what they did, as they did. But I think that with Doc Rivers in the fold over there in Philadelphia, I think they're going to be good. You got a new voice. You get a really good coach because whatever happened in LA with Doc Rivers, like that's cool or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's the East Coast now. You know what I mean? I think that Doc Rivers can go far, man. They can go far because Doc Rivers got that championship ring and he know how to coach at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It was too much for him in the Clippers. I thought that he shouldn't even got fired from the Clippers and stuff. And then now you got him. He got a chip on his shoulder now that he got let go. You know what I'm saying? That matters too. So I really think that this Sixers team is going to be good with the addition of Coach Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, bringing in Doc was definitely a good move for them. Hopefully they can get the chemistry because it seemed like the chemistry, like the chemistry was so off. Just obviously everything's going to change without Ben Simmons, but even in the bubble, like it just seemed like they were fighting with each other. There was no cohesiveness. And Embiid, he just didn't look right either. Like it looked like he was out of shape. He looked out of shape. He was not moving like how he should be.
He gotta get in shape and stuff. He's their guy. When he's focused, when he's engaged, when he's playing at his best, he's like one of the best, players in the NBA. So he got to figure it out. Yeah. Maybe this year might help him and stuff. Maybe he might get that coach that can tap into him. Like Doc Rivers is good at that. You know what I'm saying? He's good at maintaining. Listen, he had the Boston Celtics big three. You know what I mean? So he can make it happen though. Like, you know, so I think that Embiid gonna have a big season this year. I really do.
Yeah. See, I mean, him and Ben Simmons. I mean, you're talking about two top 15, two top 20 players right there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially you got to be able to do something. But their role players need to step up too. They got to build a better roster around that team. You know, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it seemed like the year before when you got JJ Redick and all that. You know, JJ Redick's a shooter. They were missing that. They were missing J. I think JJ was a massive. I mean, losing Jimmy was obviously tough, and we saw what he did in the bubble. But to me, JJ Redick's shot making ability, you know, coming off screens and all that, like I think. Of having Ben, you know, driving to the basket and kicking out to Jada, I think that was missed sorely by them. But we'll see how they do. But how'd you like the bubble? How'd you like, you know, NBA, you know, the restart? You know, obviously, you know, they took some time off with COVID, and you know, they restarted, got, you know, created the bubble, and you know, had the play-in games. You know, had the couple games before the, you know, the playoffs. How'd you feel about how the NBA handled the whole bubble situation and how everything? Because no positive test, that was, you know, a tremendous thing. No positive test. No one got sick. How'd you feel about the whole bubble and how everything went?
The NBA did a better job with the bubble than our government did with the country. For the fact that they went to the hottest part of this whole COVID situation in Florida, and they went into the fire and then had no positive test, not from staff, not from players or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the bubble was cool. We had to watch a lot of good basketball. You know what I mean? Yeah. All day. It was what I expected, like a big old AAU thing, whatever. But you know what I mean? That playing game with Brooklyn and Portland was amazing. I was hoping Brooklyn get in too, man, because Caris LeVert showed me a lot of things. Not only he can take over a team with his scoring, but he was a great playmaker too. Remember, he had some games where he was getting like 15 assists and stuff. Yeah. You know, even when his shot was falling, he was doing some other stuff, man. You know, but yeah, it was fun seeing, like, you know, the uprise of Jimmy Butler, you know, Tyler Hero and everybody over there in Miami. They did their thing. You know, I thought that Tyler Hero, man, once he made that little face thing, I was like, nah, man, you're not supposed to do that.
You're not there yet.
You want to be confident. You want to be confident and stuff, but this is the NBA, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're young, you're not ready yet. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That he ended up having a little bad series and stuff like that. But I want to point something out, right? Because remember, this is because people was like really thinking that Jimmy Butler was like really gonna win this final series and stuff, and that he was like on the same level as LeBron because he's doing this, you know, triple-double thing and stuff, right? I want to point something out. Remember the game? He got tired. You know, he's bent over like this. I'm like, LeBron did that.
Right?
Yeah. I think it was like, yeah. I'm like, hold on. LeBron did that for an entire series and was fine. And you're tired you're tired? I'm like, yo, this series is done. This series is done. Yeah, you got this game. You're doing your thing. You playing hard, but LeBron could do that and be in peak condition the entire time. Like, there's levels to this. That's why I knew Miami didn't have a chance, because it's just different levels. Like, it was just levels like that. You know what I mean? But listen, and also I was like, Jimmy Butler, he's just a, you know, not a main guy type of guy. He's a great player, but he's a number two. Not anymore. I don't think they're like that no more. I'll tell you that much. I ate all my words. That dude's a superstar for real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
He showed out big time.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see that same type of intensity when fans are in the arena, when you can travel on a plane and stuff like that. I want to see that. I want to see that version of him too, man. And he's gonna be hungry this year too. So I'm excited to see what Miami gonna do. I'm gonna watch them, you know, starting next season a lot more. Be really like focusing on them, and I want to see how much Tyler Hero improves too, and Duncan Robinson as well. You know, I mean, I want to see how they improve.
What about Milwaukee, man? I mean, obviously, you know, number one seed, best record in the whole league, and then they get bounced in 5 to Miami. Well, do you think, you know, they were the one team that truly got affected with not having fans? Because to me, in my opinion, if we have a normal, if it's everything's normal and they have, you know, obviously they'll have home court advantage throughout the playoffs. I think they benefit the most. That they could feed off the crowd. You know how role players feed off the crowd at home. You know, I think they missed that big time with that team. How do you feel about Milwaukee and the struggles they had in the bubble?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the fans definitely took knock them down a notch. Not having no fans in the building and stuff. And also they're easy to guard too. They don't really space the floor like that. Giannis don't space the floor, which Giannis shouldn't have to space the floor anyway. You don't want to play like Giannis shooting threes all the time. That takes away. You know what I mean? I want Giannis to play center full time, to be honest. You know what I mean?
He should.
I'd rather Giannis play center full time and then just get some good shooting guards on the wings. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So Giannis can get that rebound and run, because Giannis is really good passing, like, to the sides and stuff like that. He's a really good passer when he's driving to the basket. Right?
People don't talk about that about the game.
Yeah.
He had like 6 assists against shit.
Listen.
In less than 30 minutes a game, he averaged 30, 15, and 6.
Exactly. And it's funny that when people when people say, like, Giannis, he got a lot to work on. Listen, this man just won back-to-back MVPs. He won Defensive Player of the Year, and he still has a lot. Still has a ways to go. He can get better.
Isn't that scary, Daniel? Like, he could get better. That's scary.
Yeah. That's scary. I hope he stays in Milwaukee, man. I hope Milwaukee realizes, like, hey, this is your last chance. You're a small market team. Do what it takes to get that championship. And
you think they can get guys to go to Milwaukee? Like, it's kind of like the LeBron thing. Like, how can they get guys to commit? Because if Giannis is not going to commit, how are you going to get, let's say, like a Bradley Beal or someone like that caliber to come play with him?
Trade. Simple as that.
Just take the risk.
You got to trade. Yeah. They're going to take the risk with Giannis. You got to take the risk with Giannis. You can't trade him. You know what I'm saying? You got to take the risk and stuff. I don't understand when they're like, well, you're going to have to trade him to Miami. I'm like, please, I'm not trading him to Miami unless you got to give me Bam and Tyler Hero back.
At least.
If Giannis want to go to Miami, it's because that he's leaving as a free agent. But any trade, you got to give me a star player back too. I'm sorry. For Giannis, come on.
Yeah. What do you think Giannis is talking to the front office right now? Because obviously there's pressure now. Like, the pressure is on for Milwaukee because he's a free agent after next season. The pressure is on. What do you think he's talking to Milwaukee right now about?
Well, it gotta be a two-part thing. Like, he gotta talk to Milwaukee about, upgrading the roster, but also Milwaukee gotta talk to him like, yo, you still gotta get better in your game. You know what I'm saying? We still need you to shoot. We don't want you to shoot a lot of threes, but we still need you to improve that jump shot off the dribble too. We need you to develop that one dribble pull up, 2 dribble pull up, 3 dribble pull up, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's on both sides, and you know what I mean. And be a better leader when the things is going bad, because your body language sucks sometimes. So it got to be from both ways, man. You know what I mean? Like, Giannis is not exempt from any slander. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, because he got it. He definitely got it. For the first time in his career, he got it. Because last year, I think people were like, okay, that was his first year of actually emerging and all that, and all that. And then, but this year, where he was the number 1 seed and all that, and knowing he was going to win the MVP again and Defensive Player of the Year, I think, the slander was at an all-time high for him. He got to feel what LeBron James feels, when he doesn't win a championship. And
it's still not that. It's still not LeBron.
Still, no, LeBron has. He got to feel a little bit of what LeBron feels.
It's not even that. It's still not even that. Listen, LeBron's still getting slandered from something that happened in 2011. All right, it's 2020. He losing the finals 9 years ago, and they still bringing that up, man. These same people that bring up LeBron's past are criminals that don't want their past brought up when they're trying to get a job or something like that. And they do the background check and like, hey, you had something that happened in 2011, but that's 9 years ago. Right. You know what I'm saying? I just bring a lot of logic to the conversation and stuff like that.
Oh, you're right. People still bring up the decision. The decision was 10 years ago. Listen, if that's the worst thing he did, then he's done pretty good in his life,
The decision wasn't even a bad thing. All right. All he did was something that, anybody would have done. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the only thing he could have communicated with Miami and them better or whatever, but maybe that was his mindset. I mean, not Miami, with Cleveland. Maybe he could have communicated that he was bouncing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right. Whatever. But like, Jesus Christ, that's 10 years ago and y'all still blaming him on that?
People forget he raised like $3.3 million for the Boys and Girls Club too. Like, that gets lost in everything. That always gets lost. That always gets lost.
See, people don't like the whole situation because he's threatening the throne. First, he threatened the throne of Kobe, and then now he's threatening the all-time throne. You know what I'm saying? But listen, at the end of the day, right, when LeBron is all said and done, I hate talking about the hate. I really hate debating. I really hate it. Listen, LeBron gonna be the first NBA player with over 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists. Probably gonna happen next season, actually. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and also he's gonna hit the 40,000 point mark too. You know what I'm saying?
He's going to be the all-time league scorer.
He's going to be all-time league scorer. He's going to be the only person in NBA history with 40,000 points. All right. So y'all better. I don't know. I don't know what to say when it's all said and done for LeBron. I don't know. Will he be the GOAT? Probably. You know why? Because that longevity matters.
Year 17, and he's the best player in the league.
Man.
I mean, if you think about most guys, year 17, if there is a year 17 for a lot of these greats, they're either really done or, they're bouncing around teams. We always see the pictures of a Hakeem Olajuwon in Toronto, Patrick Ewing with the Sonics in Orlando, Barkley in Houston. Like, we see guys in that stage of their careers, and they're done. Like, and yet LeBron is playing at the highest of high. Like, he is still the best player in basketball. It's crazy. Yeah. And his sons are closer than playing in a few years away to being in the league, and he's still playing. Like, it's crazy, right?
The thing about his sons that we gotta chill. Like, LeBron want to play with his sons. That like his son's gonna go straight out of high school to the NBA. Like, we gotta chill.
Oh no, of course.
His son is good. No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to chill. I'm not saying that his son ain't good, because his son could actually really play. I'm just talking about, like, we can't put these expectations on these kids, because at the end of the day, media always going, they do this, they'll build you up, and then they'll slide your little Jenga chips out of you and make you fall all the way down. You know what I'm saying?
They did it with Tiger Woods, right? We saw that, right?
Well, Tiger's situation is different. You know what I'm saying?
Loved it when he came back up, right? The media was all over that when Tiger came back up.
He came back up on his own and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm saying, like, we can't be. I don't like when media talk like that, like he's going to come out of high school and stuff like that. Because if he fails to live up to his father's standards, that's going to be hard. It's going to fail anyway.
It's impossible to live up to that standard, though. It's impossible.
So what I mean. I wish they would, like. Because this, like, in his class, there's a lot of great. There's some good players. Mikey Williams in that class.
His Sierra Canyon team is stacked.
Yeah.
Zaire just left. The other Zaire had to transfer. Wade's kid, Zaire Wade had to transfer. And he's pretty good. He wasn't getting playing time, right?
Yeah.
BJ Boston, that team was stacked. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it's just. Yeah, like you said, the pressure it'll definitely be on. But like you said, the media,
I wish the media would spread more love to them kids, them freshmen, to that freshman class, though, because they got Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams more known on social media, but look, DeJuan Wagner's son is the #1 ranked player in that class.
He's nice, man. I just watched highlights of him this week because
he don't say nothing. He like Kawhi Leonard to me, man. This kid, I'm like, yo, he played just like how his dad played too, man. He played just like how his dad played, man. And that kid right there, man, he's special. He's special. I'm gonna speak for him. He don't speak. I'm gonna speak for him. That kid is special. And he's not going to a big school either. He's at the same school his father's at in Camden, New Jersey, in the hood, at the same school, putting in that work, man. That kid's special, man. I like it.
But isn't it crazy how, like, you see, like, there's so many second generation guys kids that are coming up, that are Scottie Pippen Jr., Kenny Martin's kid was on it,
Shaq kids. Shaq kids. Look at, like, we got Sharif kids. Sharif is at
LSU, right?
But the other one, though. Now the other one, he's good. And Shaq got the daughter, too. The daughter's good, too. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, you could talk about Ron's kids, Ron Artest III and Jerron.
Right? Your brother's kids.
Yeah, they both playing D1. Ron III plays at CSUN, Cal State University at Northridge, and Jerron plays at UC Irvine and stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. It's cool seeing these other generation kids, like, making it happen.
Ron Harper's son is at Rutgers.
Who's that?
Ron Harper's son.
Oh, wow.
He's nice too. Like, this, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, you see all these, like you said, Kenny Martin's son's coming out in this draft. Like this, like you said, LeBron kid. That's great. It's you said DeJuan Wagner's son.
let's pay homage to the guy that pioneered the movement of the Suns, Austin Rivers, man. You know what I'm saying? Austin Rivers was like the first one, you know what I mean? That I was like, okay.
He was the number one player, right?
Too.
He was the number one player.
He was
He
nasty,
was
man.
good.
But you know, listen, he had a great NBA career. He's having a great NBA career. You know what I mean? He's going to play 15 years probably or whatever.
Right? I think people just look at like, oh, but he's not averaging, you know, he was such a, he was a stud in high school, but he's not averaging 20 a game. It's like, no, but he's still having a good, he's playing minutes in the NBA on a playoff team, you know, a playoff caliber team. And he's going to play 10, 15 years. That's a hell of a career.
Do you see these athletes in the NBA? Like, that's what happens. Everybody's an athlete in the NBA pretty much. Like, you know, it's different from when you're the only athlete on the court, or like when you go to college, you're one of 3 athletes on the court. It's different when you go to the NBA when everybody is an athlete. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So they call these players bust. Like I'm actually having a podcast on what makes a player a bust. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, they will call Greg Oden a bust.
I don't think he's a bust.
Greg Oden's not a bust. If you get hurt, if injuries kill your career, you didn't bust. You know
exactly. I agree 100. I don't think he's a bust. When he played, he was good. He was putting up numbers. He was putting up double doubles.
Ask Joakim Noah and Al Horford, was he a bust? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Oden lost the championship game, but we saw what he did to them. You know what I'm saying? He did them filthy. You know.
I think the bust is simply, you can't, if you're out of the league in 2-3 years and you're a high pick and you can't play. Like I'll bring up Anthony Bennett. To me, he's a bust. He just could not play at all. To me, that's a bust. He just can't play, and he's out of the league in 3. And guess what? He was out of the league in 3 years, right? Or he was bouncing around, and then he's not in the league. Like he's not even 24, 25, and he's out of the league already. Like to me, that's what I consider a bust. You just can't play.
You know what's crazy? Now here's a curious case of a bust too. I'm gonna say he's a bust, not bust. And I'm gonna say Jimmy Fredette, yo. Because I'm gonna tell you why. He is weird because like when he play, he can score, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he just didn't want to play defense or something like that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm like, yo, he could have had a better career than JJ Redick.
He could have been a JJ Redick player, like coming off screens. Yeah, 15-year vet. He could have been like.
You know, I just think that he didn't want to play no defense because it's funny.
JJ plays defense. JJ plays defense.
Well, he competes. He tries hard. That's what he do. You know what I'm saying? He tries hard.
It's like Jimmer did not play. You're right. Jimmer
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I wish like Jimmer could have like went under JJ Redick's wing and learned something or something. You know what I mean? Because when he played in China and they played against Houston in the NBA, he was killing them guys.
Right? So then he got like the Knicks again. The Knicks game chance, but he didn't really do much. He didn't show much.
I don't think he want to play defense, man. I don't know. I just think he want to score, man.
It's not
he's kind of averaging like 38 a game or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He gave them Houston Rockets like 30 something. And I'm like, yo, like, come on, man. So he's just a curious case. You know what I'm saying? But you're right though. If you're a high pick and you can't make it to your second contract, then yeah, you bust.
You can't finish your first contract. I mean, that's for Anthony Bennett. Like, he got traded after the first year and then goes to Minnesota. I mean, he just didn't look like he belonged, right?
Whatever was bothering him out, it must have been true, man. Because in college though, he was different, man. I saw why he was the number 1 pick too. Because in college, I'm like, man, he can play. He has some game, you know what I mean? But it's just crazy that it didn't work out for him. But he was drafted over. Who he was drafted over? Giannis.
That draft was pretty weak. I mean, Giannis was in that draft. That was the 13th, but that draft wasn't super deep. But I know Giannis was in that draft. Giannis was 15th pick.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, but yeah, like I agree. Like guys like Greg Oden aren't bust. Like if you get hurt your whole career, you're not a bust at all.
Like somebody tried to say Dewan Wagner was. I'm like, what? I'm like, just because
I just talked about it a few days ago. I was pulling up
he had a stomach issue. Like he almost died. Like what you talking about? No, he's not a bust. He's not a bust.
He was so good at Memphis too. Like he was a problem.
Yeah. If you get hurt and your injuries mess your career up, you didn't bust. I'm sorry. People be like, yo, Sam Bowie's a bust. I'm like, okay, whatever, right? Did you see Sam Bowie playing college? He's playing like how the modern big man plays right now in Kentucky. When he was at Kentucky. I don't know if anybody ever seen Sam Bowie play. I was like, look up the tapes. Please look up some tape of Sam Bowie's game.
Watch the tape.
It's like watch the tapes, man.
It's like when we talk about the draft, right? And you see like I look for instance like Cole Anthony, right? And people look at Cole Anthony and just look at the numbers, right? They see his field goal percentage. and they're like, oh, he shoots 38%. He ain't going to be good. And it's like, well, you have to look at what happened with that team, right? Like he wasn't playing with the greatest of players around him. And like you said, college, Cole Anthony's a guy who likes to move in space, right? That now in college, you're playing a way slower pace, right? You're playing against that zone, those 2-3 zones at Syracuse and all that in Duke, so the game slows down, and now you got to play at a slower pace. And and he has to carry a team that's just not that good, So I see stuff like that when people are like, oh, he's not going to be good, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, first of all, man, he has the pedigree, right? Like his dad was a hooper, like so, and you see what he can do in an open space. Like this man's going to be a good player, I think.
I was told after the first 2 games, I was like, okay, I seen what I needed to see already. I knew that it was going to slow down for him because they're going to do the zone stuff. But once I seen him, I was like, okay. I was like, he was averaging he had like 30-point games, something like that. His first couple of games. Yeah. Once I seen that, I was like, okay, he'll be fine in the NBA. People, players, fans, these fans don't understand that the NBA is different from college. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why Gilbert Arenas did that podcast. Like, some players are not built for college.
That podcast it's so true. Look at Devin Booker, right? If you knew Devin Booker was going to be the player he was now, like he would not have been the third. I think he was the 11th, 12th pick. He would have been a top 3 pick. He would have been maybe number 1, because if you knew he was going to be this, like it's crazy. Like it's just, to me, and I want to get your thoughts on that. Like, do you believe that a lot of guys, and we see this a lot, where look at Zach LaVine. He was like a 6th man. He was coming off the bench at UCLA, right? And then look at him now.
Devin Booker was coming off the bench too.
Like, look at Tyler Hero, right? Like, you see him with his scoring. Like, we didn't see that in college, right? So, do you think that to an extent? And then listen, there's some guys that do need college, right? And I believe, like Zion, for instance, he needed that college experience.
I thought you were about to say he needed another year. I'm
just saying he needed that 1 year because he would have went into the draft. Let's say you can go out of high school. He could have went out of high school, been a top 5 pick, but his game would have been defined, right? He goes to Duke for the year. He learns how to play, be an all-around player, and his marketing just shot off. Like, it was already high, but he was against high school, and he didn't, he was against little kids at high school. It's like, all right, can we see him do it? He does it in college, and his superstardom just goes to another level. So I think it benefited for guys like him. But for a lot of guys, do you feel like that going to college can actually hurt your game? And because it's like you said, you're slowing down, you're playing against a lot of zone and all that. Do you believe that, like the Gilbert Arenas, what he said about that? Do you believe that?
Yeah, because think about it. It hurt Cole Anthony's stock crazy.
Yeah, because he went from being a top 5 tempted pick to now he's in people say he's going to be in the 20s. Like
whoever get Cole Anthony won't get the steal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If Cole Anthony goes deep in the late lottery, outside of the lottery, that's going to be the steal of the draft, man. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you judge them because of what you saw in college or whatever. When his game is full wide open space, it's going to be perfect, man, for this game and stuff, But yes, I totally agree that some players are built for NBA game only, and some players are built to develop in college to get to the league. Like Obi Toppin, his game was built for college. You know what I'm saying? Now he did his 4 years, and now he's going to have a good NBA career. I think. I think the Amari Stoudemire comparisons, y'all need to, temper it down a little bit.
I get a little hype with that too. I see a little bit. I saw
Cam Martin comparison too. I was like, hell no. But I get they're both seniors, but you put Cam Martin as a senior versus Obi Toppin as don't do it because Cam Martin had people scared. The only reason why they didn't win it that year because he broke his leg.
Yeah. He was still number 1 pick.
That dude, they put fear in people. That dude Cam Martin was different. You know what I'm saying? So but I like Toppin on that. This is not. I'm not even knocking, but I just think that he needs to be his own. He could be a hybrid of both, though. He has both of them. He has Ken and he has Sean. He has actually Ken, Sean Marion, and Amari in his game, like that activity and stuff like that. I think that he's going to be really good. I think that
a lot of people hate on his defense, though. I know he's not a great defender.
I don't know why everybody's picking on defense in the league. Nobody plays defense in the league.
It's more of a team defense anyway at this point.
Yeah, once he get there, they'll teach him, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like I see, because someone I had retweeted someone's tweet because they posted a highlight of Obi Toppin's offense, and it didn't get a lot of love. But then he posted a video of his defense, and people were just like, "Oh, this is why he's not going to be good," blah blah blah. And it's like why are we so focused on the negative stuff that maybe could get hidden in the NBA game? You know, if he gets to the right team and all that, where we're not focusing that the good stuff he could do that actually can translate into the league. Because to me, his offense translates to the league right now because he's a super athlete too. So why are we so focused on the little things he can't do on defense? Yeah, he may not be as shifty on defense, maybe but the offense, to me, why are we all highlighting the offense?
Yeah, Toppin was the best college player in the land this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had him. I kind of had him going like 3. You know what I'm saying? Like I had him like 3 or something like that. You know what I mean? I hope he goes high, man. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody want him on the Knicks because he's a New York kid or whatever, but I really hope he goes high, man. Because that dude was a player of the year, man. He was a beast. He's athletic, man. It's like his father.
He's the same way. He's
I don't think you ever seen his dad.
I heard about him. I haven't seen, but I heard.
His dude dad name is Stretch. This dude dad athletic as all get up. You know what I'm saying? Like for a reason. You know what I mean? And Obi, what I like about Obi, his game, he could get better too. And he's getting better every year. Since high school, he added something. He got better every year. These last 8 years or 10 years, he got better. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's only going to get better. He didn't peak as a player yet. He still has a way to go. He didn't scratch no NBA workouts. He didn't scratch nothing yet. So once they get their hands on him, he's going to be really good, man. He's going to be really good.
He can get better. I don't know why people they just look at the things he does bad and just assume all right, this can't get better. It can get better. You can get better. People worried about his age too, which I think is weird. Because he's 20, because it's crazy that in today's league, if you're 22 coming out, you're old. You're considered an old player. It's crazy. I was watching. They mentioned Julius Randle being old, and I'm like, wait, he's not that old, and he's 25, and they're like, oh, he's an old vet. It's he's an old vet. He's 25. Come on, it's crazy. But I think the Obi slander is definitely too getting crazy with all that. It's but I want to ask you two more things before I let you go. I want to talk about actually the high school going to the pros. Do you think that you should be able to go from high school to the pro? Or do you like the fact that there's a one and done rule?
No, we should be able to. You should be able to end your amateur status if you want to. All the other sports do it except for football, which I understand that.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. But you can go to the army and kill somebody. You know what I'm saying, at the age of 18 or whatever, or get blown up at the same time at the age of 18. You got these people in tennis. But what about the Williams sisters? They've been playing since they was 14.
At 10.
You know what I'm saying? You know. So yeah, I think that you should be able to have a chance to go to the NBA out of high school. You should be able to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? And if it fails, then hey, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is what you want to do. You should have that option. You know what I'm saying? But do you worry that cultural thing though?
Too many guys would because obviously let's say we were to bring it back, you think, because obviously the amount of underclassmen that come out now is at a crazy rate. Do you think that we would have too many guys who think that their game's ready and then they don't get drafted? Do you think there should be a rule in place? All right, you don't get drafted. You come out of high school, you don't get drafted. You still have eligibility to go to college. You still have that chance to go to college or something. Do you think something like that should be in place? Because I think I do think you should you should be able to go to high school. But I think there's going to be an oversaturation of guys. There's going to be so many guys. High school kids are going to think that they're ready for the pros, and they may not be ready. They may have to go to college. Do you think something like that has to be implemented, tweaked a little bit to make sure you don't have too many guys going straight out of high school?
I mean, it depends if they don't see an agent. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see an agent, you do the whole process without an agent, then I would say, yeah, if you don't get drafted, you should be able to go back to school. But if you got an agent, they give you any type of advance or money and stuff like that, paying for your flights to these workouts and everything, then you're on your own and stuff like that. But that's going to be hard though, because think about it. The players that's coming out of high school are basically, impoverished black kids.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So of course they're going, they have a chance to make something happen. They're going to do it. And you know what I mean? So I would say, I don't know, they just got to change the rules. Maybe they need to pay the college players to make it more easier. You know what I mean? They make the transition more easier and stuff.
Which is crazy that the fact that they like with all the sponsorship and all the money that the coaches make. I mean, look at a lot of these coaches are the top paid employees in the state.
Yeah.
The state, and yet look at Zion. Look how much money Zion made for Duke. Even though Duke's already, they make money as is because of the brand, but you can't tell me that Zion did not bring more eyeballs. I mean, when President Obama is sitting courtside at a game, when you got celebrities going to these games, I mean, you're making serious money. And the fact that Zion wasn't allowed to get a penny of that, or if he takes a slice of pizza, it could be ineligible. To me, I just find that just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. The rules, you know what I mean? The rules is crazy, but it's to benefit. It's not to benefit the student athletes. It's to benefit the other guys' pockets and stuff like that. Like the NCAA tournament makes like $1 billion during the NCAA tournament alone. That's 3 weekends.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. They gotta fix it, man.
But how do you fix it? What does it have to? The money have to come from the sneaker companies, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. Does that come from them? Because there has to be a better way to at least. I'm not saying you got to give these guys $10 million contracts, but you got to give them something. It's just it's
I think that it should be like a tier. It should be like a tier rule. It should be like some tier thing, like how the NBA G League has it. You know what I mean? Certain players get more money.
I heard a lot of guys going to college, right? That's going to change. That's going to change a lot for college.
Yeah, they basically took the LeVar Ball format and ran with it. That's what they did. That's all college basketball. That's all NBA G League did. They took the LeVar Ball format and ran with it. But yeah, I think that play these amateur athletes should get paid, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're in school, you're making all that money, you know what I mean, selling jerseys and stuff without the name on the back of it. We know who jersey that is, Y'all making hundreds of millions of dollars and stuff, and y'all just like living it up. And some kids in college can't even buy them something to eat. You can't buy them nothing to eat because you don't want to be a violation. I don't know.
You can't take a slice of pizza or else you get in violation, right?
They need to fight back against that. I don't know how they're going to fight back against it, but they need to, fight back against it and stuff like that. And I guess one way you can fight it back against it is going HBCU route.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So shout out to McCormaker for doing that. We need a number 1 ranked player to do it though.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I hope that the high school, NBA going straight out of high school. I don't want it to happen just yet because I want that number 1 ranked player to go to HBCU, like a bunch of them. Let the top 5 go.
How do you get more kids to go the HBCU route?
Oh, they're reading now.
Because a lot of listen, a lot of kids like going to these big schools because of they see the facility, they go to Duke, they go to North Carolina, they see the facility like, oh my God, how do HBCUs get that money to be able to upgrade? Because that's been the issue, right? Facility.
They got the money, but you understand nobody wasn't checking for them, so of course they're not going to have the facilities they want to have.
So you think with the movement now, you think that changes a little bit?
I think it changes. Yeah, I think that changes in the next 3-5 years. I think it changes. You got to understand they got this I forgot this guy's name. He's a black guy, he's a black billionaire, but I think he went to Clark Atlanta or something like that. One of those schools in Atlanta, one of those HBCUs, whatever. He be giving like $100 million to the school, and they have the money. Michael Jordan, always donates tens of millions of dollars to HBCUs and stuff. Steph Curry just did it. He donated to the golf for golf or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's money there. They just wasn't checking. You know what I mean? The top athletes wasn't checking. You know what I'm saying? But we had somebody like Imani Bates go there. You know what I mean? Or even LeBron James Jr. go to HBCU. Like DJ Wagner and all those guys and stuff. You know what I mean? All
it takes is one to start.
It takes one, but I wanted to be that number 1 ranked player, that top 5 player.
Be that top guy.
Yeah.
That's definitely. I think that would be a better route for a lot of guys than just going to the Dukes and the Carolinas and then the Michigan States and all that. That definitely would be. All right. So one more thing before I let you go. Obviously the New York City basketball scene is legendary, right? We all know that, but it feels like of late it hasn't been the same, right? We haven't get a lot of those New York guys, or a lot of the New York guys either transfer or transferring halfway through, and going to other schools, whether they're going to, Virginia or they're going to Connecticut. What do you think has been the issue with the New York City basketball scene? Is it another thing? Has it been facilities wise? Because you look at Jersey, they love, and I think it's another thing is football too. Like when football is king, football, they pour in so much money into football programs and all that, and then that attracts everything else, right? Do you think that's an issue in New York? Is that they're not pouring the money into football and all that, and everyone's going to Jersey or they're going to Connecticut, all the New York City kids? Because you see, if you look at the NBA, you see they're from New York, but they don't finish school in New York, right? And to me, what's been the issue with that?
My issue is with New York. I think that it's everybody's in competition with each other, and there's no unity in New York at all. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like these trainers, they don't really care about making these kids better. They just worry about lining their pockets up, or they get one known guy in there, and then they just act like they just trained them his entire life and stuff like that. It's a lot of BS in New York that need to be cleaned up, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And if it takes the kids leaving to go better their chances, then I'm all for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was crazy. I'm glad that you brought that up too, because I didn't know that Mo Bamba was from Harlem. Yeah. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know Jalen LeCoux was from New York as well.
Yeah, from the South, right? But like the last New Yorker to finish his 4 years in high school in New York City was, I believe, Kemba. That's the last dude.
I think Isaiah Whitehead.
Whitehead?
Yeah.
Okay. That got was Isaiah Whitehead a first round pick?
No, he was a second round pick.
Okay, that's why, the last first round pick to finish, his high school career in New York City, which is crazy, right? Because I look at all like I said, I was doing my research, and I'm like, wow, he's from New York City. He's from New York City. He's from New York City. Yeah. Why aren't they finishing their high school career in New York City? Why is that? That's a big issue. Jersey basketball is taking over. Like I didn't see that coming, but it has. Like like I said, when I hung up, it's facilities too. Like I feel like since Jersey football compared to New York football is it's two different worlds, right? Jersey is king.
We're not a football city, though. You know what I'm saying? Like unless you go to August Martin High School in Queens, I think that's the only pretty much the only high school that really play football like that and stuff.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like facilities and all that. I think like you said, kids like going to nice facilities, right? They like going to nice gyms and working out in nice gyms and playing in nice courts. And I think New York City's definitely got to fix that.
Yeah. And there's another player that's from Brooklyn too. He played on the Clippers. Named Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
He from New York. I did not know that kid from New York City. I'm like, what? He like, Brooklyn and stuff. I'm like, you from? I'm like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, Jonathan Isaac's from New York, from New York City.
Wait. What?
Let me double. I know he's from New York.
Jonathan Isaac's from New York, yo.
I remember I was looking, I'm like, yo, how many guys are from New York? And Jonathan Isaac is from New York. I've got to double check where he's from in New York. But let's see, Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, he's from the Bronx. He's from the Bronx. I mean, like, but you know what? You wouldn't know. Like, I don't know where. He went to IMG, so he left to go to IMG. Like, that's crazy. Like, there's too many of that. I see. Like I said, I did the research, and
did he move out as a kid or something? I got questions now, man. Like, did he move? Did he go to school here? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, like he's from the Bronx, and he but there's too many of those guys. I look at like Amadou Diallo. He's another dude. Yeah. He went to Christ the King, and then he transfers and then goes to I think school in Connecticut. Who's this dude played for the Knicks? What's his name? The small forward. He went to St. John's. Man, he went to Christ the King too, but then he transferred to Oak Hill, and he didn't fit. But there's too many of that. I just feel like it's too many New York dudes that are from New York City, but they're not finishing the high school ball in New York City, and to me that's a big issue, because I think that I don't know what has to change. I don't know if it's facilities where it's the who's running stuff. People. Because it seems like it has to be the coachings and all that. But they're doing something wrong. That guys are leaving, right? Because do you see that? Do you see like the coaching is not the same as it should be? Like the coaching is
gotta be the quality of play, man, in New York City that while players are leaving. I mean, they're getting better experience elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I think it's that public school division. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like maybe the public school division ain't up to par enough. And maybe you feel like you can go get better. If you want to go get better, they're going to these schools getting better. So that's just my opinion on that.
Because I know, like living in Staten Island, basketball scene, like no stat. I don't know if it's still the case. I haven't been on top of Staten Island hoops, but Staten Island basketball never made it like to the PCL championships. Like they would never represent it. Like, and to me, that was always like crazy because there was always good hoopers, but like public school scene, like I would see in my own school, like this dude down on the basketball team, or it's just crazy. I hope New York City could get that better because it feels like there's something missing around here because it's not just the high school, it's college too, right? St. John's hasn't been the same for a long time. The New York City basketball scene hasn't been the same. So I hope they can figure it out.
I think everybody's having it's everybody's turn. Everybody got to have their turns. Not New York City turn. I think we'll be back.
Yeah, hopefully. We can't give Jersey too much, Yeah. We can't give Jersey too much, right? They got sports betting, they got better malls. Like can't give them too much. But Daniel, man, this was fun, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, man. I really do, man. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Before I let you go, just plug your social medias, where the people can find your shows and all that. I know you got a store. Plug all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I got the Daniel Artest podcast, man, where it's on every podcast platform that you consume your content, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Google Podcasts. I'm on that. You know what I mean? I have the store. It's on Teespring or whatever. So you just type in like Daniel Artest podcast on Teespring, and then it'll come up. Or you just go to linktree.com/ Daniel Artest Pod, and then all my stuff will pull up like that. So other than that, man, everything is all good, man. I'm just enjoying the life and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and I got a Facebook group too, so just go to Facebook, search the Daniel Artest Podcast.
It's so crazy. It'd be wild in there. It'd be wild. There's some wild takes in there, but it's definitely fun.
Yeah. I outlawed any LeBron, Jordan, Kobe debates. All of the debates, I outlawed them, so they get deleted automatically. Shout out to my mod team. Shout out to my mod team out there, man. My moderators, man. We outlawed it.
Good moderators, because sometimes a lot of these groups, these Facebook groups, these NBA groups, they get crazy, right?
Yeah, they're crazy. Let me tell you something. The reason why I outlaw it because they start being disrespectful to one another. You know what I'm saying? And I come from the projects where I've seen people get killed for saying the same stuff y'all saying online right now. We're not having that in the Facebook group. So I know I let them know like we're not doing that. Inviting people to your manhoods and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's a basketball conversation.
Exactly.
You can't agree to disagree. You don't have to threaten nobody or tell somebody to, it's crazy.
Exactly.
We're not doing that.
I've been a part of groups where I left because I'm like, yo, this is too come on. Can we just have a regular civil discussion? If you don't agree with me, that's fine. That's cool. That's what we're here. We're here to discuss. We don't have to agree on everything, but it's some of these groups could get crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you got mods for your stuff because I just see a lot of civil things. You don't see things going too crazy.
You notice my page is mad. It's cool. It's actually really cool and stuff like that because like the stuff. First of all, you gotta lock your page. You gotta accept every post. You know what I'm saying? So like the post that I don't accept, you gotta be weird. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that. So I just lock it down and stuff. Oh yeah, I also have a Patreon too. Patreon.com/Daniel Artest Pod. Y'all can donate $5 a month and stuff. I'll be adding in more, stuff later. Actually, like where you can get like, free, Daniel Artest podcast T-shirts and stuff. I actually made, logos specifically for the Patreon supporters and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just trying to level up the show. I'm just trying to level up the show, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing this solo. You know what I mean? I write, produce, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do it.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. You know how it is. It's fun though. It's fun doing something. I never know I'd be doing this. You know what I mean? From pot. My first anniversary is tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Congratulations,
So,
bro.
you know what I mean?
That's big. Because a lot of people, they do one show and then that's a wrap, right? They quit and like, oh, I don't like it. That's it. It's a wrap. But
My
you got to
first show was horrible.
Oh, mom. I listened to mine. I didn't have a mic. I had no mic, no equipment, no software. I just was talking to the computer, and had no structure. Now it's it's completely different, right?
I had this.
Yeah.
I had this and press record and was just talking in it and holding it like this, no headphones, no nothing, just talking and going to my notes on a note app and just reading them off and actually sounding like I'm reading. So I had to actually fix that up. So, but it's fun though. It's fun to see my progress now. So I got 94 episodes on the Daniel Artest podcast.
Almost at 100, man. Almost at 100.
Yeah, I was trying to get 100. I was trying to get 100 in my first year, but I was like, you know what? I'm not pushing out that much content like that no more. You know what I mean? The only reason why I made it this far because the NBA lasted so long. So, but now I'm going to slow it down, just start coming out every week and stuff with different shows until the NBA. But I also got another podcast I'm starting. It's called Technical Talks, where we talk everything outside of basketball. You know what I mean? We're talking about life and culture and everything like that. But I will have different guests on. If I have an NBA guest come on, we'll talk about what they do off the court. Your second passion. Because all these players have second passions, like whether they invest in or they have another business. We're going to talk about all that stuff. So that's actually, dropping soon. And I'm also working on the Daniel Artest. Well, not the Daniel Artest, but the Artest podcast network, where I'm gonna have all my friends that have a podcast. We all have podcasts. We're just going to bundle it up, become one thing, and what you got going on at Off the Ball podcast network and stuff. So you know what I mean. We're gonna make it happen. You know what I'm saying? I ain't in competition with nobody. I'm just loving what I do. You know what I mean?
I learned so much from other networks and podcasting, man. It's just to me, it's one big community. I always look out for people. If you need help, if anyone need help, I'm saying, yo, reach out to me, hit me up, I'll help it. There's no competition, right?
People crazy, yo. People be like, yo, I'm not listen, I know that a lot of people are better than me at podcasts, and me, when I do my basketball opinions, I don't talk I'm not an analytic guy. I don't break down game film. I can play basketball. I'm not really good at breaking down game film. I just talk about off the field. I got to take a lot of notes to get my podcast going and get these episodes going. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I follow the notes to a T or whatever. If I'm by myself, I'm podcasting on my own, I follow the notes to a T. I have a format.
When you do a show, do you just you give yourself a few things that you want to talk about and then go, or are you writing down, or like a script? Do you kind of go by
sometimes my memory be shot sometimes, so I got to write the notes. I got to write a lot of bullet points. But I can mess with it though. Where all I need is a running start. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So once I get my running start, I'm good. I'm good.
I write. I'm like, okay, I want to go to this and this. This all right. That's how I do it. If you have too scripted, then it sounds too robotic, and you're just talking like this, right? If you go script for script,
I used to do that, but now I can change my voice now. I know how to talk. Where I put words, I'll underline it, make sure I have my own word system where if I underline it, it's an emphasis type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I have it to where I can actually read from a script, and then I'll be like, hey, I can make my voice pitches and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I mastered that. I need my notes because my memory is shoots me sometimes, whatever. And I don't want to be because I hate editing. It's too much editing.
I try to eliminate and dead space because sometimes, especially my first shows, I'll talk and then I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say next because I didn't write anything down. So I'm like, what am I going to talk? And then you have to think quick. But now I'm when I do a show with someone else, I always I'll do the research on them and I make sure, okay, I'm going to transition. All right, I'm going to talk about this and this is how I'm going to transition to the next topic, right?
Yeah.
And so it's smooth. So I know, okay, all right, that's how I'm going to do this.
You know what I do with the uhs though? All the uhs and ahs or whatever stuff. I use this app called The Script. In the script, it automatically transcribes this whole podcast. So it'll read your voice. So it'll come up it'll say Chris, and then it'll be like, yeah, you got two different voices, and then you put the name on it, right? And then it'll have all every single word that you put every single word, it transcribes it, right? And then you can just type, you just scroll or whatever, and be like remove filler words, and it removes all of it, and it takes the voice out of it too as well. Like it's crazy. The script is dope. I gotta send you the link because, and also,
I didn't do that.
say if we talking about, you know, LeBron or whatever, right? And we'd be like, oh, LeBron had 46 points, 15 rebounds, 13 assists, but really he had like 44 points and like 9 rebounds and 8 assists, right? They got this crazy technology where you can go right back to because word for word, you can erase the word, type in the actual word that you misspoke, and it takes your voice and does it right away for you.
Wow. I guess. Send me the link to that. I gotta use it.
It's actually easy to edit your show too. They do it for video and audio. It's actually dope. It's easy. It's easy because first of all, if you can say "oh" the entire time, and your guest is saying "oh," you're not going to edit that whole show out like that. You know what I'm saying? But it takes all those filler words, all of them out, and then it's just taking you straight through. It's actually really dope. I think it's like a free trial. I don't know why I feel like I'm giving a promotion like they sponsor. Yo, stop playing, yo. Stop. Come on, sponsor.
Free promo love, bro.
Yeah, you know, for free promo, right? You know what I'm saying? Listen, you know, listen, the script. If you're watching this, the script, right? This is how I want y'all to do. Don't pay me. Just give me the free. Just give me the free monthly. Just give me the plan. That's all. You don't give me no money. No, but it's really. You know what? At the end of the day, podcasting is hard to edit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that everybody should use it. If you can figure it out, like if you can move all those filler words, I say, man, it'll you know level up your show, whatever you trying to do. Because a lot of I don't edit. I only edit like my voice, but sometimes it's got to a point I don't edit no more. I just know how I talk. You know, I know how I talk. I'm just like I'm over it.
I think that's why it's important to get good equipment because if you have a good mic, if you have a good mic and all that, and you have good software, you don't even need. Like I said, I got a Yeti too. I'm using a Yeti right now. You don't need to edit because a lot of people edit because they're it sounds crackly. Because if you have a bad mic, it can ruin everything, right? That's why I upgraded because everyone was telling me, yo, your show's good, but the audio is not there. The audio is still. I'm like, damn. What? And then they said, get a Yeti. And when you get a Yeti first, I'm sure you've dealt with it where it's intimidating. It's like, whoa, like it's loud, like you hear everything. But then once you get used to it, like you hear the show, you're like, wow, that sounds crisp. Yeah, that sounds like a radio. Like, okay. And you get used to it, and bam, it's ready. I think it's super important for everyone in podcasting to make sure you invest in a good mic. You get a good mic, you don't even have to worry about editing all the other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Worry about background noise and all that.
But don't you want to edit? I mean, not edit. Don't you want to like even like doper mic now? Like I look
at Mike saying all the time. Like I want to get the next edition. There's another Yeti that's like here. I'm like, oh, I want to get that one because that one's a different level.
Let me ask you a question. Like, so what else do you use? Because I want this thing called the Rodecaster Pro, like the mixer.
That's the next audio. Because right now I use a Yamaha. I got a Yamaha, and that's like like right below it. And
they have something that's more powerful than the Rodecaster Pro. That's this size. It's called.
Really?
It's a Zoom. It's a Zoom track.
The Zoom. Yeah, that's the mobile one. It's the mobile one. Yeah.
I thought, man, that thing bad. I seen it. They let me test it. I was like, man, that thing bad for 200. Oh, that might be my next boy.
And you could bring it anywhere. It's what's good is that you could bring it anywhere. It's mobile. Anywhere. So
see, you know exactly what it is.
I look at the road. I'm like, I look at the Rodecaster. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get you one day. It's like $600. It's because I got the Yamaha, and I know we giving promotion to these places like crazy, but I got the Yamaha, and it cost me like
just send me. Listen, this is what I want you to do, right? This guy's gonna work. Send me all the clips of us promoting separate, and I'm putting them on my page, and I'm gonna retweet it on Bro's page and stuff like that. We're gonna get something out the deal, bro.
We'll get something, man. We're gonna be sponsored for Yamaha and Rodecaster, right? I'll clip it up, and we can make this happen, bro. But yeah, I got the Yamaha, and it cost me like three and change, and it's hard to figure. It took me, no joke, it probably took me a few months to like perfect how to use it because it's so many buttons on here and there's so many different levels. I'm like, man, this is tough. This is hard to use because I would go back from the Yeti and also use the audio board. So I would go back and I was like, But I finally figured it out. But yeah, I use that. It's right above. It's because when I was looking to try to find, I'm like, I can't afford the Rodecaster yet. So what's the next one below that? And there was like that, and there's another one I forgot what I think it starts with a B. Berlinger, Berlin,
Oh, I know
something
what
like
you're talking about. Yeah. It's like Burhanger or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Berlin, something like that. Yeah, but and then the Yamaha was right at the same tier at that, so I invested in that one, and it's been good because it helps me a lot. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but and plus think about it, podcast ain't really blow up until this year. So now they creating everything that's podcast like now and stuff. You know
oh,
what I mean?
yeah, I invested in headphones. To me, headphones is important so you can hear everything. I
Yeah.
invested. I got a booth like this booth, like what they use. Like I got
Ooh.
this. I'm like, oh, I had to invest in that. You can pop filters. I've learned so. I know all the intricacies of
Yeah.
podcasting to make sure it sounds. Because to me, the most important thing is make sure it sounds. Because when you listen to a podcast and it sounds the person's too low, or it's just all you hear is just like you hear the person messing with it. It just messes up the whole vibe. It could be the best show, but if you hear all that, it messes up the vibe, right? And people don't want to listen to that, right? So to
Yeah.
me, important is just audio quality, sound quality, and then obviously having a quality show with good content. But to
Yeah, of
me,
course
all
as
that
well. Yeah.
obviously that's important. But if you can have the best content, but if it sounds like crap, people aren't going to listen to it. So to me, at
Exactly.
least have good quality, making
Yeah,
sure everything,
exactly.
and then everything else, would be easy because that's a stress. You know how many times I had one show. I'll give you this. I had one show. It was a dope show. It was so good. We were talking. It was a great conversation. I go back. It sounded horrible, horrible. Their mic was so low. My mic was everything was crackly. I'm like, oh, and then someone had told me, yo, good content, but I couldn't get past it, like, because it sounded all. I'm like, damn. So that's why I was like, all right, I got to invest in everything to make sure everything's crisp. Because I want. If people like my show and they hear bad, it sounds bad, then I couldn't like it no more. Then I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to lose that. You
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
lose
lose
that.
the viewership. So I
Yeah,
invested.
exactly.
Invested in all the stuff, invested in a guard, in a pop filter guard, pop filters, good mic, good headphones. So now everything's smooth, and now I don't even, like I said, that's one less thing you have to worry about is editing the show because the sound doesn't sound great. So to
Yeah,
me, if you do all that, you'll have a good show, and then you'll just have one less stress you have to worry about when you're doing the show. Now you
exactly.
can run a smooth show, and whatever you're talking about, it comes out easier. You're not worried about, oh my god, that doesn't sound good, blah blah. Especially midway through show, you really can't unless you have a producer that can help you. But like I said, we're doing a solo. We don't have producers, right?
Exactly.
To me that stuff's important. But I know we
Exactly.
gave people 20 minutes of how to do a pod, how to,
Hey,
how to
hey.
do a podcast. But to me, that's important though. That is important though. All
The
that
only
stuff.
background noise I like was I did a podcast when I was walking on the beach.
Oh, but that
That was
brings a
dope.
part. That was
The
dope.
ambiance was dope. When I was talking about the Lakers and stuff like that. I think they beat
But that has to
Portland or
you the
something like
Lakers
that.
in your water. That feels that. That's an
Yeah,
LA thing. That's perfect. You don't want to hear barking, dogs barking, and
yeah, exactly. It
doors
was
opening. Water splashing. The refrigerator beeping. Those are
yeah.
things. Sometimes you can't control, especially you got kids and all that. But hey,
Yeah,
But
my son is literally right there. You didn't even hear him the whole show. My son is just chilling. Like he's
that's
good.
good. Right?
He knows, like, Daddy, you about the podcast? I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, I'll be quiet and stuff like
So,
that. So
how you doing? Podcast?
yeah,
Okay.
podcast. Yep, I'll be
He's
quiet.
like, all
Stuff
right.
like that.
He's like, all right, I'll be cool. Let
Yeah.
him play games or whatever, or my daughter too, like, and they're straight. So
Yeah, he was on my
but,
lives a couple of times and stuff when he predicted the Nuggets was going to win and they won. I'm like, you just won chicken nuggets. So I was like, you so funny.
nuggets. Say you pick them, you get some free chicken nuggets,
Yeah,
right?
the
There you
nuggets,
go. That's dope.
exactly.
But Daniel, man, this was fun. Like I said, man, this was real fun. Let's definitely do this again, right?
Yeah,
This was fun.
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you hopping on. We're chopping it up on a lot of things, but like I said, man, I continue success with everything you're doing, man. 'Cause I know your show is killing it and all that. So much
Thank you.
success to that. Like I
Thank
said,
you,
let's
man.
hope to do this again and chop it up and talk some more. All right, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
Peace.
man. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Daniel, be safe. All right. Wear your
Yes,
mask. Stay away from people. This
all that.
All right.
Wear your mask, real.
Wear
I got
your
a whole
mask.
stack of masks, man.
I got the Bane mask, man. That's how much I take it serious. I got the Bane mask, the whole thing. So be safe out there, people.
I need more masks too, man. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
never have enough masks.
I got a mad mask, yo. I ain't playing.
Man, like you said, you won't be strapped behind your back and all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
I got all that, bro. I'm ready. I'm not trying to catch this one.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. You be safe.
Hey, brother. All right, take care.
Peace out.